Week 13 is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and that means we need to check in on Patrick Daugherty's rankings presented by Genesis. Pat will go through our quarterback, running back, and wide receivers, ones that stuck out to both of us when ranking them ahead of the Week 13 slate. And we'll start off with Deshaun Watson, who you view as a low-end quarterback one this week. We know the news that Will Fuller will not play another game in 2020, and Will Fuller and Deshaun Watson have been an extremely important connection, Pat. So how do you view Deshaun Watson this Sunday in his first game this season? Well, recently, I should say, without Will Fuller.
I mean, Deshaun Watson had locked himself into the top 5, really not getting on a bad team, not getting enough attention because he's completing almost 70% of his passes, averaging almost 9 yards per attempt. I mean, that is rarefied air. Has only 5 turnovers and 11 starts. Just playing at such a high level. But yeah, Will Fuller is gone now. You know, he has bad career splits without. Kenny Stills isn't there to pick up the slack. He's been released. Randall Cobb has to miss at least 2 more games. And there's just, nobodies now behind Brandon Cooks. You got Kiki Cutie, who just cannot stay healthy. You have Isaiah Coulter, a rookie who we like, but, has almost no NFL experience whatsoever. And Deshaun is playing so well, but his circumstance now dictates that he's a low-end QB1 instead of the high-end QB1 he's been all season. Yeah,
Deshaun Watson has 20 or more fantasy points in 7 of 8 games this season. And those splits that you're talking about without Will Fuller, I mean, he's averaging for his career 53 fewer passing yards without Fuller so far. That is sizable, Pat. I feel like in order for Deshaun Watson to hit that quarterback 3 and 4 status against the Colts, we're going to need some rushing production. And we've seen it with Deshaun this year, and he can create magic with just about anyone. But I'm with you. It would be so difficult for me to move off a player who's playing at like a top 3, top 4 caliber level in the NFL this season, despite, as we know, those massive splits that we've referred to.
Yeah, and that's why you can't drop him all the way out of the top 12 because this is still such a good player. And he's been doing a little more running lately, but yeah, a massive fade is in order.
Let's now go to running back. Oh, we had a Dave Montgomery career day, Pat, in week 12. So how is he going to follow it up against the Detroit Lions? You view Dave Montgomery as a potential top 15 running back, Pat? This is like a whole new world we're living in.
Yeah, this is not someone you would typically want to chase points with. And in my column, this is how I put it. In 2017, there was a complete solar eclipse in America, a very rare event. Even rarer is that there's another one in 2021. And that's just kind of how I'm viewing David Montgomery. You're going to chase David Montgomery points this week because he had one of the best games of his career, and now he plays a Lions defense that gives up by far the most running back fantasy points. And with the Bears passing game, it's dysfunctional, almost non-functional. You have to go to David Montgomery. He's still not challenged at all. When he was out, the Bears just had no rushing production. They had no answers. Right. So he's unchallenged. He has a great matchup. He's coming off one of his best games. You have to go back to the well. You have to chase these David Montgomery points.
16 touches, 143 yards, and 1 touchdown last week for Dave Montgomery. That might have been like his 5 combined games before then, Pat. But he's in a great matchup against the Lions, a Lions run defense that has allowed 21 touchdowns to running backs this season. So if ever Dave Montgomery can string together back-to-back performances, we've said that before, Pat, but maybe it actually happens. Maybe this is how 2020 closes with Dave Montgomery being a legitimate fantasy player. All right, quarterback, running back, done. Let's close out with wide receiver. And you have as a high-end wide receiver 2 this week against the Cincinnati Bengals, Devonte Parker.
Yeah, Devonte Parker had fallen back to kind of like mid-range wide receiver 3. Tua Tagovailoa just wasn't playing that well. Devonte was kind of playing through injuries, not getting like massive target totals. But yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back last week. He immediately gets 14 targets, has an 8-catch, 100-yard day. He has a good matchup in the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been kind of not breaking on defense, more bending, but they have taken to breaking. They are a plus matchup for the entire Dolphins passing attack. Just a kind of a lack of target competition, too, for Devonte Parker. Preston Williams still out. Mike Gesicki not taking that step forward. This very uncertain target situation behind Devonte Parker, who has such good chemistry with Ryan Fitzpatrick that I'm comfortable getting him in that top 15, top 16 receiver.
I'm not going to try to ruin this video right now, Pat, but I do have to ask a follow-up question. Does this ranking hinge on Ryan Fitzpatrick or Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback, or does not matter in this situation?
He'll be dropped if it's Tua. I will say
Okay.
that. So it does kind of hinge. This is, it's all about the magic, the Fitz magic. And I think it'll be Fitz, but yeah, it could be Tua. But if Fitz is out there, Ryan, I trust Devonte Parker as a top 15, top 16 option.
And I ask because, and I'm still optimistic about Tua's future, but right now he seems like he needs to see an open receiver in order to throw the football to him. Maybe all wide receivers are going to be open against the Cincinnati Bengals, but Fitzpatrick, as we have seen since returning to the lineup, hey, if his guy's one-on-one, especially Devonte Parker, he'll lob it up there and allow his wide receiver to go up and get it. All right, go ahead.
So Fitz does not require a big window, whereas Tua, is playing slowly. So yeah, Fitz, a very good fit with Devonte.
Those are Patrick Daugherty's rankings presented by Genesis. Go over to Rotoworld.com and check them all out.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.